Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Don't forget, when we get to 500 subscribers, we'll be having another giveaway. We had one at 100 and we'll be having another one at 500. Hopefully we'll be there coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's a Tuesday and today's video is going to be a two-parter, because neither is going to take that long to talk about. But like I said yesterday, if you watched my Braves review, it's going to be a very busy week. There's a lot to talk about, and I'm going to try my best to get it all in this week. I know we post videos every day, but there's still so much going on this week to talk about that talking about just one thing in each video, I may not have enough time and enough days to get everything in. So today's video is going to be for all the wrestling fans out there and for all the football fans out there, since it is a two-part video. But before we get into it, I wanted to say that wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making the Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube page part of your day. We greatly appreciate it. Every single time you watch the channel, we greatly appreciate it. If you watched last week, I did a quick review of South Dakota State beating Delaware to make it to their first ever FCS championship game, and I did a quick preview of their FCS championship game against Sam Houston State. Well, it was Sunday afternoon from Frisco, Texas. I hope everybody that did not have to work and was home Sunday afternoon at least watched part of that game, since everybody's always saying they want college football year-round. Well, you didn't quite have it year-round, but it was close, because the FCS season went all the way until mid-May, and now it's only about 3 months until high school football starts. But I predicted that South Dakota State would win their first ever FCS championship, and they almost pulled it off. They got out to a 7-0 lead, but then fell behind, and they were actually down 17-7 going to the fourth quarter, and scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and made the game close. But Sam Houston State held them off by the score of 23-21. So John Steigelmeyer came up just a little bit short in his first ever attempt at an FCS national championship in his 24th season as the head coach of the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. So I know my friend Amy Rose, all the way out in Rapid City, South Dakota, has to be a little bit upset that South Dakota State did not quite pull it off, but it was still a great season. Their leading passer in the game was actually the backup quarterback, Keaton Heidi. He was 11 for 22 for 107 yards, because their starting quarterback, Mark Gronowski, was only 1 for 2, 16 yards. He had a serious injury early in the game. It looks like he broke his left leg, but they haven't said officially that's what it is yet. They're supposed to announce that coming up later on in the week, and it's going to be tough if that's what it is, because since the FCS decided to play their 2020 season in the spring of 2021, they're going to come right back in 3 months and play their 2021 season. So if Mark Gronowski did break his leg, he'll probably miss all, if not at least most, of the 2021 football season. Their leading rusher in the game was Davis. He had 14 carries for 178 yards and scored all 3 of their touchdowns. And Strong had 15 carries for 57 yards. And their leading receiver in the game was Hines, who had 3 catches for 44 yards. For Sam Houston State, their quarterback Schmidt was 20 for 37 for 209 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Izard was their leading receiver. He had 10 catches for 108 yards. And Jefferson was their leading rusher. He had 16 carries for 96 yards. So Sam Houston State wins the FCS National Championship 23-21. And let's just hope that Mark Gronowski did not break his leg, because he was only a freshman, and I think he's going to be really good But if he does have a broken leg, he will miss the more than likely, entire 2021 football season. And now, for all the wrestling fans out there, we'll go home and jump into WrestleMania Backlash review, because I did my Backlash preview this past Saturday, and the review is going to be short. If anybody out there has already watched it, please feel free to leave your comments and leave your thoughts on what you thought about it. But my review is going to be short only because I did all 6 matches, and I predicted who was going to win all 6 matches, and I had all 6 matches right. So, being that I was right with all 6 matches, I really don't have a lot to talk about, because just like I said when I did my preview, there was nothing that really surprised me. It went down exactly like I expected. The only thing that I predicted that was wrong was I said if they had an extra match, it would probably be Shinsuke Nakamura and King Corbin. But the extra match was on the pre-show, and that was Sheamus with his U.S. title open challenge, and that was answered by Ricochet. But as far as the main card, all 6 matches went down just like I expected. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode dropped the tag team belts to Rey and Dominic Mysterio, just like I expected. If anything really surprised me, it would be that they made Cesaro look really strong, and I'm glad, because I did predict Roman Reigns would win the match, but I thought they were just going to make Cesaro look weak. But it was actually a really good match. They made Cesaro look strong, and then he got jumped afterward by Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, so I'm assuming they're going to continue the feud between Roman Reigns and Cesaro, which I'm glad about. I thought Cesaro was going to have one chance, and then that was it. But it looks like they're going to continue this feud at least for a couple of months, and I'm very excited about that. But I was hoping, like I said in my preview, they would give Cesaro the belt, but I didn't think they would. I didn't expect it. I predicted Roman Reigns to win, but I was hoping Cesaro would win. I would love to see Cesaro get just one title shot after being stuck in mid-card purgatory for the better part of 10 years. But since this feud looks like it's going to continue, maybe before it's all said and done, Cesaro will get at least one title run. I don't care if it's a month. I would love to see Cesaro get one championship run. So there you go. Today's video, we had a quick review of the Sam Houston State, South Dakota State FCS National Championship game, and a quick review of WrestleMania Backlash. And it was quick because it went down just like I expected. All 6 matches, the winners were the people I expected. So there's really not much to talk about when everything you thought would happen would happen. But if you've watched it, please feel free to leave me your comments and thoughts. If you have not watched it, go ahead and watch it and leave me your comments and your thoughts on what you thought about it. And they also announced that the next pay-per-view for WWE will be on June the 20th. I believe that's correct, which will be Father's Day, will be my twins' 3rd birthday, if I have the date correct. I'm pretty sure that I read the next pay-per-view is coming up on June the 20th. And AEW also has their next pay-per-view coming up here in a couple of weeks, so we'll be previewing that coming up one day next week. And also, don't forget, coming up later on this week, tomorrow we'll be doing our top 10 countdown of the week, which this week is going to be top 10 all-time tag teams. We've also got to get into our review of the NASCAR race at the Monster Mile in Dover coming up this week. And I would like to have a day where we have a quick discussion about the NBA playoffs, since the NBA playoffs start coming up here in a few days. And I'm also going to try my best to have a small discussion about all the changes that are coming down for the month of August for the NCAA football players, all the changes that they're going through. So we may have to have another day this week where we do what I'm doing today and just kind of talk about 2 topics in one and try to keep them short and brief. But I do want to talk about everything that I said I want to talk about. So there's not enough days in the week to talk about everything. So just stay tuned. We'll try our best to get to all that stuff coming up later on this week. But I want to know, before we sign off here, when meteorologists get mad? Do they storm out? And that wraps it up for another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.